So let me give you some practical notes on using virtualization. This is from my own experience of making this stuff work. On Linux, there's a great tool called Virt Manager. I'll show you a screenshot from it in a minute. It used to be pretty rudimentary, and now it's a lot better. I mean, Virt Manager, you can set it up, you can give it a DVD image, you download it from an archive, and start loading a VM. When you use this, the images are usually stored in varlib libvirt. So when you start creating more than a few VMs, you usually run out of space in /var, so you want to make sure you move that over to a different space. Verse, you can actually use to change that default space, which you have to do a lot. And also, like I said, networking can be complicated due to the use of virtual network bridges in Linux. So you have to be prepared to work on it to make it work. You're going to learn something about it. It's kind of a complicated issue. The simplest thing to do is start with a network address translation, or NAT, to get the VM working on your network. And be cautious about computer security. So if I have a single server running in my lab, I can use IP tables to control it, right? So I've got my single server running ESX, and I went and created 20 VMs on it. I now have 20 places for someone to break into if they don't use some kind of protection, okay? So security problems explode if you use unprotected, unpatched servers as VMs, so beware. That's going back to Maslow's needs hierarchy too. So here's an example of using Virt Manager. So I've started up Virt Manager here in a window. Actually, what I'm doing here is I've got a pfSense firewall running in my lab, which is, pfSense is an open source firewall software. It works really well. It's really cheap. It's a use it in your lab if you don't have it, because you can increase your security immensely. Basically, it's a PC with pfSense installed on a USB stick. It boots and runs off of that. I can go to a web interface. I can set up an account for myself, for my students. So we can VPN into my pfSense firewall. When I do that, I get on a 192 network, so I'm completely separated from all the outside. Nobody can break into my systems because they can't get through the firewall. Okay, so it's basically at the expense of an old PC and a USB drive and a couple network interfaces. You can really increase your security of your system. So what I've got is, I've got a pile of PCs running virtualization. I've pfSensed, set up my pfSense firewall. I've made a VPN connection from my laptop through to my pile of systems. And I've used VNC here to bring up a remote console, a remote screen. And I'm running Virt Manager. And what you see here is actually a few systems. Cursor. This is just one physical machine here running OpenSea's VM, another test VM. Got a Windows 7, it got it shut down right now. So I can actually manage, using Virt Manager, a collection of machines. It works pretty well for that. Live migration, maybe not. It's not there yet. But it works really well for basic Linux administration of KVM virtual machines. Now, this is, when I open up one of the VMs, I can actually get a console on it. So this is actually, what you see here is a console on a virtual machine that's running. Okay, so I'm actually talking to a virtual machine. Works really well for that. Now, if I want to create a new virtual machine, in Virt Manager, I say create a new virtual machine. I can then select local install media, like a DVD or CD-ROM. So when you want to create a new virtual machine, you basically downloaded a DVD image of Fedora or Windows or Red Hat or whatever you want to use. And you tell the virtualization system, pull your boot from that. What will happen is it's got a virtual BIOS in it, just like a regular PC. It'll actually boot, go to the virtual CD image, start loading it. So it's pretty straightforward now. It used to be a lot more work, but it works a lot better now. So like I've said, managing the network can be tricky. This bridge utils package is what VRCTL is included in. And also the getting external interface working on the virtual switch can take some work, so just be aware of that when you try doing this. So Virt Manager can let you use these virtual switches, but you have to set it up underneath correctly in the first place. So here's an example here of Virt Manager. For a VM, I'm selecting a virtual network to connect to. So if you're going to do anything on Linux for virtualization, you're good learning Virsh, the Virsh shell. And it looks pretty daunting at first. Once you learn it, it's great, because it works really well. And that's kind of what seems to really control what's going on. It's really the power behind the GUIs for these things. And libvirt is supposed to be able to control Xen and KVM. Has anyone ever used libvirt to control Xen? Anybody here? I've never tried it, but it's supposed to. It's supposed to run VMware too, but I've never tried that either. So in terms of an IaaS controller, VMware vSphere is a commercial version of it. It works really well. It's very stable. You can start, stop, migrate, shut down, everything. And it's got a great GUI. You can manage network virtual switches on it, and it works really well. I want to show you an example here. This is my VMware in my lab. just to give you a sense, this is one physical server, okay? And picture in your mind a little netgear switch, okay? On this virtual server, I've got 1, 2, 3 virtual network switches on that one physical server, okay? So what I've got here is, I've got one of the network interfaces, a gigabit connected to the virtual network switch, and it goes to the outside network. This one, I've got the second NIC on the server connected to the second virtual switch, okay? So what I've got then is each VM has a virtual NIC, or more than one. And so for example, this Prof Sonar VM has got its virtual NIC is plugged into this virtual switch, okay? That's how it works on the ground. Now what's cool is, let's say that I've done this for Nice. I buy a 10 gigabit adapter and I plug it into my server, and I want to have my VMs have 10 gigabit access. You can do that. You create a 10 gigabit virtual switch. You plug your 10 gig adapter into the 10 gig virtual switch. You create virtual 10 gig NICs and you plug them in, and it just works. So I can have like 5 VMs, all their own personal 10 gig connection to the 10 gig switch on the server, out the interface to the 10 gig outside network. We do that for Nice. It works really well. Something else we've done just kind of cool is in VMware you can actually do port mirroring. So we have some intrusion detection software running. We have a mesh of virtual network switches. And it's replicating all the packets on this kind of background network. We're running snort and bro on it to watch for intrusion detection. It's all virtualized. It works really well. So Linux-based cloud computing systems, there's Nimbus, Eucalyptus, OpenNebula, and OpenStack. My personal experience with OpenNebula is the most straightforward system to set up and use. It's easy to debug. You use a standard Linux facility. It seems to work pretty well. And this right here is a screenshot of my system running OpenNebula. So this is showing the physical host, one host list. You know, basically teach about each physical host, and it picks up information on the processor and available memory. And this is the list of VMs that are running on those right now. So when I'm going to create a VM, I say to OpenNebula, here's like an instance of a VM. Go find a place to run it. And OpenNebula finds a machine, puts it over there, and brings it up. And I can see it from this list. So I can control these systems through this interface.